Okay, YouTube, this is your man Tech Savvy. Let's get straight into this video. The sound that you just heard is the Bluetooth FOBO Bike 2 TPMS system that you can install on your 3-wheel or your 2-wheel motorcycle. Now, my purpose of this video is to demonstrate the uniqueness of this product because it was able to help me understand what was going on with my tires. So I'll go a little bit further into detail in a minute here, but this is the product that you're looking at, or that you just heard that was on my phone. This is the TPMS for motorcycles. You have one for the trike and you have one for the 2-wheel motorcycle. Now the one for the trike, even though this is a slingshot, a normal trike will have one wheel in the back, one wheel in the front, 2 wheels in the back. Okay, but the reverse trike, as you can see, is demonstrated on the picture here, or the icon here on the front of the box. The reverse trike has 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back. The reason I'm saying that is because this system does not have the slingshot icon for you to install it directly for a slingshot. So you will have to use the reverse slingshot connection in order for it to work on your slingshot, or the reverse slingshot, the reverse trike connection, so it can work on your slingshot. So I apologize for that mistake there, but you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Now, if you're asking why did I bother to do this after I said I was not buying any more products for my slingshot, you already know. If you're a slingshot owner, the minute I made that statement, you know it was an automatic lie. Okay, but the reason I actually bought the product is because every morning before I take off in the slingshot, I would do my PMCS, my preventive maintenance checks and services. Those that they've been in the military know exactly what that acronym means. My tires would be deflated, and I could not understand why, and I wasn't putting 2 to 2 together. But after a week of not riding, my front tires went as low as 21 psi. Now, for those of you that don't know, the front tires on the Polaris Slingshot, the minimum is the recommended tire pressure is like a 28 psi. Okay, but checking it every day and then not riding it in a week and then get back to it, and first thing I do is check it and my tires are almost 21, at 21 psi. The first thing came to my mind, because I had my slingshot on the side of the house, under the cover I had over here, because I was doing maintenance on it, trying to get everything up and running. So the first thing came to my mind was, hey, in the middle of the night, somebody's coming over here and deflating my tires. That was the first thing I thought of. So I went through and looked at my cameras, couldn't find nothing on my security cameras. So I went on and bought the TPMS, the FOBO Bike 2 system. And come to find out that it is because of the weather change. And what threw me off is I normally would think about that, but for some reason I didn't. Because of the weather change, the tires were in the morning, the weather is pretty cool, roughly about 60-70 degrees, and then throughout the day it gets up to 80, 90s, and 100s on some days. The tire pressure be at the normal reading, which is at 28 psi. But every morning, inflating my tires and then going to work, and it's sitting outside in the heat, and then I get back home, it's at 32 psi or something like that. But the next morning I get up, it's back below the 28 psi, and I did not realize because of the weather change until I got my FOBO system to make me realize, hey, there's nothing wrong with my tires. But it ended up being a good product to purchase, because now I don't actually have to go in and inflate my tires every morning. I can just simply open up the phone app, and it shows me anything. It shows me the tire pressure on for my slingshot, and I'm gonna go through it for you right quick. Let me open up my phone, and then so to give you exactly what I'm talking about. See, now, like I said, my front tires is at 28 psi. That's the minimum that I had set for my minimum psi for this app. Now that it's showing me that it is at 27.6. So that's not something that I should have to worry about putting some air pressure into the tires, because the minute I roll it, it'll probably go back up to the normal operating psi. So it became less of a stressor to just simply just pull out my phone every morning and check it. Now my recommended, the Slingshot recommended tire pressure for the front is 28, and it's 30, I think 32 for the rear. Or 36. I'm not sure. Let me see. I think I put it in here. So let me pull up my profile and see what it said, what I had. Okay. Support FOBO, and I go to my maintenance. Okay, because I had put it in while I was in it. Yeah, the front tire, the minimum according to your Polaris sticker or your badge that's on your Polaris, the badge says the front tire, the minimum is 28 and the rear is 32. Now, the only ones that I'm concerned about is the minimum, is what I put in. These other numbers, which is recommended and max, those are just some numbers that I had made up and I put in. But in order to get the 20, because this app, once you put in the minimum, it's going to automatically put in a recommended and max. But if you start out putting something like, you know, a recommendation or the recommended tire pressure, you probably won't get the minimum because it's already preset in the app. So what I did was took my minimums and my recommended and put them in as minimums into the software. So now when my tire pressure do fall under 28 psi for my front or 32 psi for the rear, I'm gonna automatically get an alarm, and that was the alarm that you originally heard when I got on the GoPro. Also, it sends you notifications if you're nowhere near the phone. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can pull those up. Yeah, it's already telling me, warning, FOBO Bike 2 is telling me the left tire pressure, and it automatically, when you click on it, it's telling me that the tire pressure was lower than what I had put in as a minimum. So this is a pretty good program overall, and the reason like I said, I wanted to share it with you is because I just got tired of trying to figure out what was causing all these issues with my tires, and in just a couple of days of me not riding it, it would automatically drop way below my minimum that I had input into the app. But I didn't have an app, and I would get in after filling it up every morning and putting in air pressure, and I'm like, what is going on? Why am I constantly having to put air pressure into my tires every day? Because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check my vehicle out every day before I get, I don't just crank it up and take off. I always perform a on the go or a get ready to go type of maintenance on it. and the tires will always be low. Now, that's enough about the Slingshot for as the FOBO Bike 2. Now the reason I'm gonna bring it up for the Goldwing, since my last video, my last video that I made on the Slingshot was probably about 3 weeks or maybe a month ago, and I've been working on Black Flash the Goldwing ever since. Now the reason I'm bringing it up for the FOBO 2 system for the Goldwing, because everybody know that the Goldwing actually do have a TPMS system in it, but on my Goldwing, I have changed out the TPMS 3 times so far. The original TPMS system for the Goldwing lasts you about 4 years, and then the battery died. But you have so much to go through in order to replace it. Take off the tires, undo the TPM system inside the rim. Get the new tires on, and then go through and try to reset it with the proper tool to reset your TPMS. And if you got the wrong tool, the TPMS will never set. I had purchased the TPMS system tool for the Goldwing, and I end up running over it after my first replacement. And I have not been able to find that tool again. There have been some fabrications or some fake tools out there, and none of them seem to be able to work. So I had sent my TPMS to a friend of mine. He repaired them, and I'm just not getting to the point where I can replace the original TPMS system back into my tires on my Goldwing. But just in case it failed, I also will have a backup, which is the FOBO 2 bike system, TPM bike system for your 2-wheel bike. So either way, if the original worked or not, I would still have my TPM FOBO Bike 2 system to fall back on. So I would go over installation, but it's really simple. You open up the box, and if you don't see it, I already show you. The TPM system for the Slingshot is just this little mechanism right here. You screw it into your tires, and as soon as I pull it, it's probably going to set off the alarm on my phone. Alright, but this is what it looked like, okay? Because it's not on my tires anymore, it's setting off the alarm on my phone. I just simply screw it back in, and when you screw it in, it's going to probably give off a little air pressure. Make sure it's a little snug, but don't overdo it, and you're good to go. Now inside the box, you're probably gonna have to hear that alarm for a minute because it got to reconnect it through Bluetooth. Now inside the box, okay, yeah, hopefully it didn't connect it. Now inside the box itself, for us, the TPMS, it comes with some additional accessories that are, to me, are really worthwhile, but it's not something that you're going to need right off the bat. You also have additional stems, and I would not use these stems until after I replace these tires. But for right now, I'm using the FOBO system TPMS, just screw it in, and when I replace my tires, this is probably when I go ahead and have the tire shop go ahead and put in these stems. These stems look pretty sturdy. They look like they're made of steel, or feel like they're made of steel, and they look pretty awesome and durable. So I probably will be going to these after I replace my tires. Now the FOBO system is warranted to last for a year, but a simple changing out the battery is all you have to do. Instead of taking off the tire, going through replacing the TPMS system, and then trying to reset the TPMS system with a tool that probably don't exist anymore, all I have to do now is just simply unscrew it, replace the battery, put it back on, and I'm done. So the headache of a TPMS system, going through these whole 9 yards of a headache and a tool, does not exist anymore. All I got to do now is just simply replace the battery when it's not working anymore. So that's my spiel for today. I wanted to share that with you. And if you're asking me about the FOBO Bike system, no matter if you're on a 2-wheel or a 3-wheel, my recommendation is yes, get it. You'll be glad you did. That's my spiel for today. Y'all have a good one. GoPro, start recording.